set this mission, and then everything changed. I mean, like literally within 2 months, we were taking phone calls, we were taking inquiries, and the first question that somebody in sales would ask, especially if it was for a keynote, is how many people would be there.
Had a mission. So let's start with North Star, your personal North Star, because what I loved when I first read How to Be Brilliant was you had a mission, and that mission was to positively impact 1 million lives.
Yeah, and it was interesting because for my first few years in business, I didn't have a mission like that. It wasn't there. I just thought I just wanted to go out and run a business and make some money and do some stuff. That was it. And I remember when I started to employ people, how difficult it was to get people, those lovely people, on the same page as me, because everybody had their own version of why they were there. And then I worked with a coach. It was a guy who actually became the chairman of my company for a little while. And he said, "What's the mission?" And I said, "Oh, well, we want to do this." And he said, No, that's the stuff. What's the mission? And can you articulate it in a few words? And I said, "Yeah, I want to positively influence 1 million lives." And I don't know where it came from, but I just said that. And he went, "That's brilliant. Let's make sure everybody knows." So I said, "Right, I'll tell the staff." He goes, "You have to make sure everybody knows, because it'll do a few things. One, it'll help you make decisions. More on that in a second. Secondly, all the team will be on the same page. And thirdly, it'll help when you sell what you do for people to know what they're getting. You know, it's the product. It's quite difficult to sell personal development. It was quite difficult to sell being a better individual because you've seen what you do." So we gave this message out to the team, and we had a lovely team of people. I mean, we didn't make any money then. Seriously, Will. Every single penny that came in went straight out on salaries. My wife, who wasn't running the business at the time, she used to say that I had a babysitting service for adults. Because as soon as I thought I needed a marketing person, I needed a finance person, I needed 3 salespeople, I needed a technical person, I needed a receptionist. I mean, we needed a receptionist. What the heck was that about? I needed a PA. I had all these people who were working, but everyone pulling in slightly different directions. We set this mission, and then everything changed. I mean, like literally within 2 months, we were taking phone calls, we were taking inquiries, and the first question that somebody in sales would ask, especially if it was for a keynote, is how many people would be there? How many people are going to be there? Because if it was 10 people going to be there, great. If it was 1,000 people were going to be there, brilliant. Because we want to get to the 1 million people as quickly as possible. So we use that as part of our decision-making process. And I would take a job that would be for 500 people for half the price that I would take a job for 50 people. Mm. And people would say, "Well, that's crazy. You should be charging more for the bigger one." No, the mission, the vision was to positively influence 1 million lives. And I can do that in a couple of ways. One, getting in front of people. 2, have people read my stuff or listen to my stuff. So the second phase was then, right, how do you get out to more people if you can't stand in front of them? Because I realized that talking to 1 million people face to face was going to take a long time. I mean, having said that, I estimate that I've presented to 500,000 people in live audiences, which is a lot, but it took me 30 years to do that. But anyway, I came with this idea to create an audio program. And, you know, you're too young to remember this, but there was a company called Nightingale Conant. And they used to send out a mailing every week. You used to get the mailing on a Friday or a Saturday morning, and they would have 6 cassettes that you would buy. And you used to buy these things, 6 cassettes, and it was Brian Tracy, and it was Zig Ziglar, and all those people, you know, the real classics. And I used to frequently, like not just once or twice a quarter, like every couple of weeks, would say, "I'm going to buy this." And it was 60 quid for a set of 6 cassettes. I got in touch with the Nightingale Conant people, and I said, "I'd love to record a 6 cassette audio program with you." And the people in the UK weren't exactly the most cooperative. Let's put it that way. They didn't think I was well known enough. They didn't think I was going to be good enough. They talked around it a little bit, and it didn't happen. I thought, sod it, do my own. So I decided to do mine on CDs because that was the future, CDs. So I created a 6 CD set, and it's just here. This is it. I'll show you if I can grab it. There we are. and I wrote on the front, number 1 of 5 million.
Oh, wow.
I didn't see that. Number 1 of 5 million, 4th of February 2003. So that was my 6 CD set, and I managed to get a screen test with what's the shopping channel called? I've forgotten the name of the
QVC.
QVC. Thank you very much. But I've just made myself go blurred by doing that. There we are. I'm back with QVC. I passed. I got. They said, right, this is what we're going to do. I sent them this. This is 2003. It was rejected. You know why? Too much plastic packaging.
Wow.
I thought I was quite visionary at that time. I hated them for it, but I thought it was pretty good that they were doing that. Too much plastic packaging. They said if you shrink the packaging and you make it so there's less weight and less stuff to carry, then we'll do a QVC with you. All sorts of things happened. That never happened. But I did meet, because of the CDs, a guy called David Bell. And David Bell was director of people at Pearson, the publishers. And I gave him a set of CDs as a gift. And he looked at them and he said, "Is this a book?" No, he said, "Well, it should be." And he introduced me to Rachel Stock. And I've told the story many times before. Rachel Stock said, "I love it. I love the idea of this book. I think we'd like to publish it. It'll come out next year." I was like, what? A year away? This was Easter. So weird about this time of year. Easter time. And I said, no, it has to come out this year. I've set a goal. By then I was into this idea of getting a book published. I've set a goal. I want it to be published this year. And she went, "Well, it can't." Well, in fact, the only way it could happen would be if it was already written. Because if it's already written, I've actually got another author who's failed to hit their deadline. You can take their slot in production. And I looked her straight in the eyes and I said, "It is." And she was like, "What?" I said, "It's already written." She went, "You've never mentioned that." I said, "I know, but it's ready." She goes, "Well, I'd need the manuscript on Tuesday." So this is Thursday, Easter weekend about to come up. I left, met her in a hotel in Leeds. We live in Northumberland. I came out of the hotel. I rang Christine. I said, "Cancel everything this weekend. We're writing a book." And we wrote How to Be Brilliant in 4 days. Got the manuscript, drove the manuscript back down to Rachel, who lived just outside of Leeds, and then hit the deadline. So it was published that year, just within a few weeks. And that was when things really took off, because that was the big multiplier. So you can see that this timeline, trying to positively influence 1 million lives and doing, 2,000 in the first year, 2,500, 5,000, 90,000. It just went boom, 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 and that was the book. It was the year of straight after How to Be Brilliant was published.
And I love that for so many reasons. One is the setbacks. You had the setbacks, yet you continue to move forward. You had the mission. You helped come up with the mission. You aligned your actions. In turn, if what you said of if it was 500 people or it was 50 people, you'd halve the price because it was about the impacts and having the biggest impact possible. Then obviously QVC saying no, right? We were still going to find a way. There was no matter what it was just a bump in the road, and you move forward. But it wasn't without having challenge and trials and tribulations along the way. And then it went on to become, it did phenomenally. And you've written some amazing books now. I mean, obviously How to Be Brilliant is one of them. The Edge, Flip It. You are a Sunday Times #1 best-selling author. And I mean, how many books do you think you've sold now in total? Would you have any idea?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I can tell you, as about a year ago, I did a check. I checked in with the publishers. There's some editions which are quite difficult, like India, How to Be Brilliant. They think that there's maybe 100,000 were sold in India, but they don't know because they don't really didn't keep records as well as they could. Which, as an author, you kind of go, I wish you had kept good records. I'm not worried about the royalty. I'm worried about the numbers. I just need to know. But I think it's around about, probably well over 500,000 books now, maybe 600,000-700,000, something like that.
I'm going to be sending a free copy of my book, North Star Thinking, Master Your Mindset and Live a Life You Love, to someone that comments on this video. And if you're loving this video, then hit like and subscribe to get more.